Hey everyone,
Hi, I'm Gina.
and I'm Gino.
We're back. Yes, yes, like all of, or not all of you, some of you, we've had weight struggles over the years, and there was a point where the both of us just had enough. So we just started implementing this new way of life, and I think Gino could start talking to you about what he introduced me to.
Yeah, well, a friend of mine at the time had told me about fasting, and I was like, well, I mean, a pretty efficient way of losing weight, I guess. If you don't eat, you can't put on weight, that's for sure. So,
Yes.
I had implemented it over time until I could get to a point where I could go, a day or more. I've gone multiple days without eating. And part of that too is also figuring out what my calorie like expenditure for a day is, and then subtracting, whether at the start it was 300 or so calories down to where I am now, where I'm trying to do like 500 or 600 calories under to lose like up as many as like 2 pounds in a single week. Although I get some inconsistencies because the issue is when you go out to eat with family, like more likely than not, pretty much anything you eat or order at a sit down restaurant is going to put you over your daily expenditure of calories unless you like really go out of your way to order something that's small or you just don't eat it and you take it home, that sort of thing. But you know, as long as I make my own meals at home, I can hit exactly the calorie count I need to be and in the exact fasting windows that I need to be, or not need to be, but prefer to be, so that I get the benefits of fasting and that I am not eating too much. And
Yes.
over time, I told my mom about it, and she eventually adapted that into her own way. So
Yes, yes. Gino, he clued me in. I think just a little over a year ago. I was definitely struggling like a lot of us do that are post 50. And it doesn't get easier, but there's no excuses, as him and I both like to talk about. So when I started fasting, I did it gentle. I would start with like 13 to 14 hours. And then I gradually over time did what he suggested, which was at least 16 to 18 hours, and then you just get used to it. It just becomes like second nature. So for me, that definitely had started to make a huge difference. And then, as he said, I figured out my calories and what I required according to my daily exercise plan. And it wasn't really that complicated. And I started to notice a big change in my body composition. And then I started to notice a scale really going down, down, down to where now I'm down close to 30 pounds, or from where I was like about a year, year and a half ago. And so it's been a journey, but making those subtle changes too, replacing the chips and the breads, all the bad carbs, of course, all the tasty carbs, right? And
yeah.
us being Italians, we love our pasta, yummy pasta, but it's kind of like the thing where that puts on weight. It turns to sugar, like a lot of things do.
Well, with you
But that's
mentioning your 30 plus pound loss, I wanted to mention that February 1st, 2022, so just barely over a year ago now, I was 225, and today
whoa.
I am 180, so 45 pounds lost
Yes.
in one
So so
year. So,
so Gino is from February for me last year. It would be around 24 pounds. So yeah. So between the two of us, do the math, folks. That's a lot of weight between the two
70
of us that
pounds
we both.
basically.
Yeah, yeah, that's crazy, but it's something that you can do. You just have to do what we're doing. I mean, that's the key. It's not rocket science, folks.
It's very simple. Well, to say it's really simple is also deceptive in a way because, like, for me especially, it's like it's not that I can't do it. It's that it's a mental battle more than anything.
It is.
There's
It's up
nothing
here.
physically telling me like, oh, I need to eat that. I need to eat that. It's a I want that. I have a craving for that, you know. It's not
Exactly.
something you need, obviously. So,
Exactly, exactly. That's something that, I could definitely speak on because, yeah, of course, your mind's gonna try to tell you like, oh, I want those chips. I want to get into those cookies. Those look great. But it's not gonna help you, and it's certainly not gonna help you lose weight to eat that stuff. So now I'm enjoying those healthy replacements. Like I enjoy, fruits and I enjoy nuts. Those are two of my favorite things. I limit my dairy, so I will have a little bit of cheese, but I try to just stay within those whole foods that Gino and I have talked about. That's been really a good good key for me as far as that goes, is limiting all that processed junk because we don't need it and it's bad for our bodies too, right? I
yeah.
mean, we talked about that on the last show. Like we don't need those sodas and things like that because it's terrible for your body and since I quit drinking, that's only added to helping, my liver function. Let's be honest, because liver burns the fat, folks. Liver burns the fat. So, you know, even if you don't have a problem with drinking, just having it in your diet can keep that belly fat there. Just keep that in mind.
Yeah, they
Yeah,
don't
don't
call it
do it.
a beer belly for no reason, right? So
Exactly, exactly. Who's ever heard of a green tea belly, right? So, yeah.
uh
So measure too, measure. Let's remind them too, like just because it is good for you, always, I keep my measuring cups and I have everything like portioned. Look at, for example, with your meats, your 4 ounce portions, right? Gino, would you say with your lean meats, 4 ounces, and then your sides of vegetables, which can be a little bit extra because veggies do have very low, especially like low starch vegetables.
you have to eat a lot of certain things in order for them to add up calorie wise.
Yes, and I find a really good suggestion for replacements is cauliflower rice. I've been talking to Gino about it before we did our show, that I'm really hooked on cauliflower rice now. I don't even miss the real thing now. I do cauliflower rice with my shrimp, stir fry with uh, the untacos that I make, which is basically you can do a nice taco salad. And, as Gino said, you don't have to cut out completely carbohydrates to the point where you don't ever have them, but you want to limit them. So, for example, if you say have a Taco Tuesday, as people call it, you substitute with cauliflower rice, and then instead of having like, 2 or 3 taco shells, just have one, like one taco shell, or like I sometimes will take half of one and crunch it up into my taco salad. But Gino's right. We've gotten to a point now where we're very, very close to our goal. So I know we're further along. But we still have to. This is a lifestyle. This is a lifestyle. This is not a diet, like they say. That's the wrong mindset because it goes back to what Gino said. It's completely up here. It starts within your mind, and that's the truth.
Yeah, you can't frame it in a way that it's temporary. Um,
No.
Eventually, what I'd like to do when I actually get to my final goal is like, when as long as I'm in control of the meals, making food at home, I'm going to stick to that. But if I go out, I'm going to choose whatever I want to eat, but just, make sure that I'm not going calorie wise over the top.
Yes. That's key. That's key. And would you say that you want a certain caloric deficit in the beginning while you're really trying to lose weight?
Yeah, I would say for somebody that is struggling with their weight, I would say that, um, you calculate, go online, they, type in your body weight and your age and your activity level and all that. Find out if I did nothing, how many calories would I eat in a day and still weigh the same? And then you could start from there. Well, first you knock it down by 300 calories, and then you go for a week or two and see how that feels. Because like I think for me, what has worked the best is like 500 calorie deficit daily, and then if you can work on getting to that, you'll lose weight rather quickly.
Yes, definitely. Because I know when I initially started it, I was like somewhere between 500 and 600 calorie deficit, and I'm still losing a few more pounds. So I'm still keeping it around like 3 to 500 in my calorie deficit for sure. But as Gino stated, it's important to have like calorie dense nutrients, good nutrients. You just have to watch anything that you know doesn't belong. That's an unnecessary
Yeah, because
calorie.
if you eat these foods that have the corn syrup or the the seed oils or especially in fast food, like it doesn't, like it only, if you eat those in a small amount, it's only gonna make you want more of it. Like whereas opposed to if you're just eating like you know a protein dense foods like meats, uh, along with some you know animal fat. You cook it in butter, you cook it alongside vegetables, and you eat that. Like even if you don't eat as much, like you won't feel like, oh, I gotta have a bunch more of this garbage. So
Yeah, it's the truth. It's the truth because I find that sometimes if you get into like the chips and you just want to keep eating the chips.
yeah, it's like an
Like,
addictive thing because that was
it
part of the
It
thing
is.
too. Is like it's almost, for me it was almost like a oral fixation, just the sensation of eating and chewing on these crunchy snack foods, salty snack foods.
Yeah, me too. Me too. I was talking to Gino about that before we came on here, and I said, like one of Mom's guilty pleasures was the granola, the good old fashioned, high in sugar, carbs, that had all the badness. And there's one really good keto version that I found that, but even that I limit that. I don't do it every day, but it's kind of like it's an addiction. Gino's right. You get a salty sweet crunch, that gets in your mouth. Yep. Trail mix, there's another one that's dangerous
Trail
with
mix
the
is
M&Ms.
not. I think
Yeah.
it's been misleading that, like, oh, trail mix is good, but it's not, because one, people always slip some weird, sweet things into it, and two is you always eat too much of it. I think that's a big thing,
Always.
is
Yeah.
no snacks when you're trying to lose weight. Like you eat all of your food during your meals and then nothing in between.
Exactly, because that is what gets you in trouble.
Yeah,
That
because
is
then
what
you
gets
end
you in
up
trouble.
not counting it too sometimes.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, because a lot of people they'll do that, and they don't realize that just even sneaking a little of something, like after dinner, it's like that counts. That counts. So you want to make sure you cut off at whatever time your window, you cut that off for the night. You don't continue to eat anything
yeah,
after
a
that.
good thing is mapping out what you're gonna eat ahead of time. Like,
Mm-hmm.
especially for me who fasts through the morning and doesn't, like, I'll eat in the afternoon and evening. I'll just think about, okay, so what am I going to eat today? And then once I've mapped out, okay, this is everything I'm going to eat today, that's what I eat. I don't eat anything besides that.
Yes, meal prepping is huge.
Not
Meal prepping.
just from a mental state. Like, obviously, you don't have to go out of your way to physically, have the meals prepared in advance. But as long as you're aware of what you have and what you want to make, and portion it out in a way that
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Well, we had a cat running by, so
you got distracted.
we got a little distracted there. Yeah. But yeah, I would say that that's a huge way to start. You want to do those things. You'll notice a difference just based on doing those two things.
Yeah, not even accounting for other aspects of lifestyle.
Right, which we'll get into later on.
Yeah,
But to start our series, we wanted to make sure that you knew that those are two key things. And
food. Food in terms of losing weight is going to dictate more than any other element of your life, probably.
absolutely.
Um, and as you lose weight, you get more into what specific foods you need to eat. So, I mean,
Exactly.
the first step is eating less, and then as you go along, you can decide, well, what am I eating now that I need to eliminate, and what can I substitute and make sure that I'm getting my daily uh, protein and fibers and little little specifics that will make the other elements of your life better.
Yes. Yes. Agree. I agree. So
Well,
yes, I guess I think that's how I would wrap up this show.
all right. Everyone, thanks for watching. If you're still watching, and until next time, I think we schedule for about weekly releases.
Yes.
We do a short to accompany our videos. If you're one of our shorts watchers, but anyways, again, thanks for
Please
watching.
subscribe.
Subscribe to us. Yeah.
Yes. We'll give you more
Bye.
tips.
All right. Bye.